After talking to my lawyer, we're going to ask for controlled meetings with our son. That way I can keep an eye on when she gets to see him, and she can't just walk in and out whenever she wants, which is bad for our son. Anyway, our son was a little confused when he saw her at first, but he seemed fine afterward. During her whole stay, she didn't pay attention to me, but toward the end of her visit, I saw that she began to record a lot of movies. I only told her one thing before she left: I didn't want her to put any of those movies online, because I didn't want our young son to have an internet life. That's it. She told me she was saving these movies for herself in case she missed him too much. I think that's a load of BS, but I didn't fight with her because it wouldn't help. Anyway, that's what happened. I found it strange, but she didn't do anything wrong, so I can't be mad. Update 3: After Olivia showed up at our house out of the blue to see our son a few days ago, I asked my lawyer to file for her to only have limited visiting rights. But after what happened last night, I don't think that's going to be necessary anymore. Since her last visit, she hadn't said anything bad about me on social media, and she hadn't used it much for a while. Her posts against me stopped after I told my side of the story, but only for a few days. After that, she didn't say anything. Then she came to see our son, which was also very strange. But what happened yesterday was the worst. She just showed up again without warning with a lawyer and gave me signed papers that said she was giving up custody of our son. I was told by her and her lawyer that they would soon file the case and get it accepted by the family court. She just wanted to let me know before everything happened so I wouldn't be shocked. I actually couldn't help but ask her why she was doing this, since she had just come to see our son a few days before, but she didn't really give me a straight answer. Everything she said was that she thought it would be best for our son to only have one parent, and that would be me, since she would be too busy with her future child. She realized that he would be better off without his mother after spending time with him the other day. He didn't seem to connect with her, and she didn't feel anything when she was with him. At that point, she told me she would leave so I could take over everything and stop bugging us. I didn't understand what was going on, and I felt bad for my son because his mother had said she didn't feel connected to him. He doesn't know what that means yet, but I know it would hurt him if he did. I didn't try to stop her, though, because she was set on becoming a mother, and I wasn't going to make her. One thing she was sure of was that it would be better for him to only have one parent around. That parent would be me, since I was willing to be his father. When she was leaving, I asked her if she knew anything about the father of her child. She said she was going to wait to get a DNA test until the baby was born, so I didn't need to worry until then. She also told me that if the baby turned out to be mine, we would make a deal that worked for both of us. But until then, she didn't want me to talk to her, which I understand. I know it seems rude to worry about a kid who is possibly not even mine, but I already have a lot to deal with. I sent Samuel that email almost 4 weeks ago, and I finally heard back from him. I learned a lot about Olivia in this situation that I didn't know before. He began by telling me he was sorry for everything. But I'm not going to talk about that right now. After he apologized, he told me that they had done a DNA test a few weeks before, and were sure that the baby wasn't mine. The baby is his, and she knew that when she came up to me. That's why he was so mad at her and broke up with her. It was clear that she didn't really belong to anyone. She tried to tell him that she had only come to see me to talk about seeing our son more often, because she said I wasn't letting her. Nevertheless, he didn't believe her story. He chose to believe my version of what happened because for 6 months he had been pleading with her to visit our son, but she always put it off. It didn't seem likely that she had suddenly changed her mind. He then broke up with her and told her to move out, which she did. She was still a child even after she left. She sent him some videos of herself with our son to show that she had been to see him a few times and that she wasn't lying about what she told him. He's not stupid, though, and he could see right through her. That's better. I now understand why she took all those videos to prove her point, which is the most disgusting thing I can think of. For real, she was using our son to get back together with Samuel. When she saw that it wasn't going to work, she gave up control of him. Anyway, he told me that they are still going to raise their child together, even though she is currently asking for a ridiculously large amount of child support. Which makes sense since she quit her job when she said she would marry him. That's their problem now, though, and I'm done with her. Not long from now, I'll have full control of our son, and the process of getting everything my uncle left me is almost over. I'll be very wealthy. I couldn't have imagined living this way 6 months ago, but I'm really happy with how things have turned out now. It didn't matter to me at that point. I just wanted to cause trouble in some way, and that was the only thought I could think of. I wasn't sure if it would work, but I got lucky, and it turned out that Samuel had no idea what she was doing behind his back. You can see that they didn't tell me any of this. He didn't answer my email. But it seems that he got into a big fight with Olivia after I sent it to him. I also don't blame him. I think anyone in his shoes would have done the same thing. She should just accept her defeat and deal with the current situation, but she is too busy blaming me and writing about it all the time. Not only did she post, but she also talked to all of our friends and tried to get them to talk to me and clear things up with Samuel. I have no idea what that means because I already told him the truth and cleared the air. It's clear that none of our friends support her. They believe that what I did was completely right. This is odd because I think one of them was the one who told her about the gift and tipped off the other person. I just couldn't figure out who it was to cut ties with them. Anyway, Olivia's really bothering me until then, so I have to deal with her. She keeps writing about how jealous she is of my life, and how upset I am that she broke up with me. That's why I've been trying to ruin her relationship with Samuel by telling him lies about why she came to visit me last week. She says she only came to see me to see her son, because I wouldn't let her see him. On the day she came to see him, she was fighting with me because she wanted to see him, and I wouldn't let her bring him back from his grandparents' house. She wants me to say that, but I'm not going to, because it's obviously not true. Nothing I do can stop her from talking about me, even though I have tried not to talk to her or contact with her. She's been posting about me every day for a week now, and it's getting annoying that she thinks she can get away with lying about what happened. A lot of our friends know the truth. There are, however, a lot of people who don't know me who are backing her in the comments. I know she's only doing this to get Samuel to feel sorry for her so he can make things right with her, and believe all the lies she's been telling. The price, though, is my image, even if it's just among people who don't know me. I don't think that's fair. I've been thinking about letting everyone see the truth. I haven't said anything yet because I know it will do a lot of damage to her image, and Samuel is going to dump her for sure. They aren't even married yet. Since they're only engaged, it will be easy for him to leave. Though I need to be sure that what I'm about to do is right. What would you think if I wrote on Facebook that my ex-wife wanted the birth certificate to list me as the father of her child? Change 1. I did it then. I told the truth before I even read the comments because my gut told me to, so that's what I did. After that, I went to Reddit to make sure my choice was correct, and I'm glad that most people think posting my side of the story is the right thing to do. After we split up, I blocked her. But I let her through just so she could see this post. Most of our friends are there for me, and even though I know I'm doing that, I still think it means a lot that they are. Because I believe it is making her very angry. Nobody has been able to feel sorry for her like she wanted them to. Also, as far as I know, she hasn't had to move back in with her folks since Samuel no longer wants her to live with him. There have been a lot of events since I sent Samuel that email 7 days and 4 nights ago, and he still hasn't answered. I know that there is trouble in heaven. I'm glad this is happening to them because she left me, our son, and our mother for someone else because he was richer than Samuel and I. He was also a cheater. They finally got what they deserved, and I hope this gives them a lesson they will never forget. It doesn't really matter if it doesn't, I'll still be rich and happy with or without them. I even want to take a trip with my son in a few weeks because I feel like I need a break. I've been working so hard since the split that I thought I needed this time to finally have some peace of mind. I believe that a well-earned break will help me a lot. When I return, I will be ready to work even harder. I still don't know who told Olivia about me because every single one of my friends who I've asked has denied having anything to do with it. The people I told about the gift are very close to me, so the thought that one of them lied to me hurts a lot. But that's just how things are. Anyway, I'm going to start making plans for my son and I's trip now. Change 2. Another day, Olivia came to my door. This time, my son was also there. I told her to leave right away, because I thought he wasn't here to see her and that she was probably here to pick a fight with me. I didn't want my son to see me acting that way because Olivia makes me act badly. But she wouldn't go, and she told me she was there to see her son. I also couldn't really stop her because she had visiting rights. That was true, so I had to let her in and show her our son. That made me very unhappy. But if I had said no, I could have been in trouble with the law. I've already talked to my lawyer about how to stop this from happening again. To be clear, I don't mind if she sees our son or not. To be clear, I want our son to have a good relationship with both of his parents. But I don't want her to be able to come and go from his life whenever she wants. It was clear that our son had a hard time dealing with her absence over the next few weeks after she moved in with Samuel the first time she left. She didn't even stop to say goodbye to him. I didn't want that to happen again. Talked about this before. But it was time since she was about to give birth in a couple of weeks. Then she told me the big secret: she wanted my name to be on the baby's birth record, as the father, because she thought it would be best for all of her children to share a last name. I definitely didn't see that coming. And it took me a few minutes to even understand what she was saying. But once I did, I said no right away, even though I didn't want to. I ended up laughing in her face because her plan was so stupid. I was able to easily make the connection, and she had already sinned by telling me she knew about the gift. Now it was clear that she was trying to protect the baby's future. And maybe even her own by making sure I took care of the baby and maybe even paid child support. I was suddenly richer than Samuel, so she changed the tune of her song around me. I thought that was funny, so I laughed in her face at her plan. She thought I might be interested in this idea, so I told her straight out that she was stupid, and that she should leave my house because I didn't want to talk to her anymore. She didn't leave, though. She stayed there and tried to talk me down. She was ready to get a DNA test, but she thought it would be better for her kids to have some kind of relationship, and she thought that having the same last name would help them get along better. She tried to show that she cared about the kids and how they lived together. It was really her asking me to let her put my name on the birth certificate of her baby so that our son could have a brother or sister and get along well with the new baby. Since our split 6 months ago, she hadn't been there for our son and hadn't even tried to check on him, even though she was allowed to visit. It was sad. It was getting to the point where our son barely had a mother left, and she was acting like it was important for her to make sure he could bond with his sister. Anyway, even if I agreed that our son should be close to his sibling or half-sibling, it would depend on who the father is. Putting my name on the birth record as the father of the child still doesn't make sense if I'm not the real father. So I made it clear to her that I might even consider her idea if the DNA test shows that he is the father. But if it doesn't, I'm not interested at all. After I made that clear to her, she tried to fight with me again. She really wanted to make it seem like she cared about the relationship her future child would have with our son, no matter who the parent was. In order to get my name on the birth certificate, she did that. I told her that I knew what she really wanted and that she shouldn't think I was stupid, because I knew the real reason was not anything else. She was clearly upset that I seemed to be following her around like a gold digger, so she yelled at me again. This time I told her to leave, or I would call the police, and she did. She seemed to feel bad about leaving me, but I knew this was her way of getting even for cheating on me. While she was gone, I was still angry about what she had done because I couldn't believe she thought I was that stupid, and that I would let her claim me as the father of the child. If I'm really the father of the child, I wouldn't have had any problems. But she said all of our children should share a last name. She wants to accept that she is the father of the child because the birth certificate did not sit well with me, even if I am not the father. If she had come to me and asked for a DNA test, I might have followed through. That way we could have found out who the real parents were and then moved on. But it was clear that this was just a way for her to get her share of my fortune. She was pulling out all the stops because she couldn't think of a good plan. This made me very angry, and I couldn't let it go without getting back at them. I hadn't done anything to get back at her. But after she came to see me and we talked, I was so mad that I decided to email Samuel to tell him what had happened, if he already knew about her plan. I was cheating on my ex-wife when she left me for her rich boss and got pregnant. But after I won a lot of money, she wants me to act like I'm the father and begs me for another chance. So my ex-wife, 32F, and I, 35M, got split about 6 months ago, and she got pregnant in less than a month after that. Let's call my ex-wife Olivia. Olivia and I were married for a year and a half after dating for 3 years. She told me that she had been seeing her boss, 42M Samuel, for a couple of months. We have a kid together who is 1-year-old. Because her boss told her he was ready to marry her, she already had the divorce papers and other things ready when she told me about the affair. I was still trying to figure it all out. Up until now, she hadn't said anything, because she wasn't sure if Samuel was ready to commit to her or not. However, as soon as he promised to stay with her, she dumped me and the kid and ran away with him. Our split was pretty easy because I wanted full control of our son, and got it. She didn't even have to fight for it. And she didn't fight for anything else either. I got everything we had, which made sense since she had Samuel now. Because she was wealthy, she could live the way she wanted to. I hadn't heard from her since the divorce was finalized. But I had heard from some friends that she had announced she was pregnant just a couple of weeks after the divorce was completed. I have no idea how far along she is, but it doesn't matter to me because she's no longer in my life. I had a hard time mentally during the breakup because I was in love with her and thought we had something real until we broke up. Because we had been together for 3 years, I had always seen that she was a bit selfish. It was always there in my mind, but I never thought it would stop our relationship. As a doctor, I've been doing pretty well for myself, but Samuel is much richer than me because he wants the company where my wife used to work. They had become close since she started working there, but he had never made me feel threatened because I always thought they were just good friends. I also felt safe in our relationship because I thought Olivia loved me just as much as I loved her. I was wrong because if that were true, she wouldn't have found it so easy to break up with me and leave. I can still understand why someone would find it easy to leave me, but I don't get how someone could have a child and then leave them. After the split, she never even bothered to see how our son was doing. I could hate her even more because of that, because that's what she deserves. Just before she left, She tried to explain that she was going because I never had time for her, but Samuel was always there for her. You won't be able to fool me. No. I know she was really going because he was richer than me. As soon as I told her about it, she began swearing at me and acting like I was a bad person for even suggesting that, even though it was true. Anyway, the reason she recently contacted me had something to do with money as well, which proved my point because I was recently named the only heir to my uncle's wealth. As background, my uncle was a businessman who made a lot of money in real estate and now runs one of the biggest real estate firms in the state. We were close, but he never got married or had kids of his own, and I knew he loved me. But I still didn't think he would make me the only heir to everything he owned. Even though everything is still being looked at, I'm sure that the estate is worth more than $2 million, and I haven't even begun to think about how much his other assets are worth. I also got the business from him, but I'm not really interested in running it. Luckily, he also left me directions in case I didn't want to run the business. Based on his instructions, I have made his CFO the CEO of the company for now so that everything runs smoothly. But I will still get money from the company no matter how much he makes, so I can just quit right now. I'm going to keep working though because I love what I do, and now that I have so much money, I can give back to society in even bigger ways. But enough about my good plans. Let's talk about Olivia's less than good ones. I told a few friends about my fortune over dinner and drinks last week. They were all shocked, but most of them seemed happy for me. But I think one of them wasn't happy because someone told Olivia about it. That's how she found out. And the next day she came over to my house and said she needed to talk to me. She was very big. And I was about to tell her to leave, but I knew I would want to hear what she had to say. I let her in because she was back after being away for almost 6 months for the divorce, and I thought it must be important that she was here. When I asked her in, though, I had no idea that she knew about my fortune. Anyway, she tried to start a conversation with me, but I wasn't interested, so I only answered with one word. Then she made her first mistake when she told me how happy she was about the gift. She seemed pretty smart to have learned about it, though. But I thought one of my friends might have told, so I didn't say anything and just thanked her. Next, she asked about our boy and how he was doing. This made me very angry because she had been acting like she didn't have a child for 6 months, and now she felt bad and wanted to know how her child was doing. I lost it and snapped at his mother. I'm glad my son wasn't home at the time he was with my parents. If he had been, he would have heard how I talked to her. Still, I don't feel bad about it because she deserves it. Anyway, when she asked about our son, I told her to cut the crap and get to the point because I knew she wasn't just here to chat and ask about unimportant things. The woman could tell I was getting anxious, so she cut right to the chase and told me she was here to talk about the new baby in our family. I was obviously very confused because I thought she was pregnant with her boss's child and not mine. At the time we were breaking up, she was pretty sure about it, and I wasn't even questioning her. I was so upset about so many things. No matter what, I knew that if the baby was really mine, I would find out through a DNA test after the baby was born. I would take care of that right then. But while she was pregnant, Samuel should have dealt with her instead of me because I didn't want to be around her unless the baby was mine. It sounds mean, but that's how it was. I also didn't think she would mind because she was sure Samuel was the father of the baby. That being said, I was shocked when she called the baby the new member of our family. I wasn't sure if that was true. That's why I first asked her if she was sure about the fatherhood. If she wasn't sure, I didn't want to talk to her anymore. She should have taken the hint, but she told me she hadn't done a DNA test yet but would if I asked her to. No matter who the baby's biological father was, she thought that since she was still married to me when the baby was conceived, I had an equal right to the child as well. We hadn't